Welcome to another episode of Get Paid for Your Pad. And today I have an absolute superstar on the podcast, Mr. Tim Mortimer, all the way from Australia, founder of BNB Made Easy. And Tim started his business in 2018. He joined our mastermind, I think it was about a year ago. And I recently spoke to Julie George, our Legends X coach, and she told me that you are absolutely crushing it in your market. Tim, she actually told me, and I'm allowed to quote her on this. She said, he has the best short-term rental business I've ever seen, including my own. And that says a lot, given that the fact that Julie built her business over 130 units and she sold it. So for her to say that is absolutely incredible. So excited to learn from you, Tim, to hear your story, and I want to know the secrets behind your success. So welcome to the show, Mr. Tim Mortimer.
Thank you so much for having me, Jasper. It's an honor to be interviewed on a show on my favorite podcast, because I do listen to this one as well. So a lot, and learn a lot along the way. So to hear that from Julie, it feels a bit funny, but she was the one who helped me start this business. So as you know, in this space, or with your Legends group, everyone has the same type of business, but they all end up, with different things going on, and we've had to adapt to our environment, and it's actually changed quite a bit compared to where Julie George's business ended up. So something else we can talk about today. But thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. So topic of the podcast today is how to dominate your market, because that's clearly something that you're doing. You're in a smaller market, but you've grown to over 100 units in just like under 4 years, right? So super incredible. You also have a guest services business on the side. So we want to hear all about that, but let's go back to the basis. Like how did you get started back in 2018? Because you used to be a teacher, right?
Yeah, so I was a school teacher. I enjoyed my job as a teacher, but I just had the I always was looking at different ideas, and I suppose just that brain that thinks that way, or this would be a good idea, but it wouldn't make enough money, or this would be a good idea. And all of a sudden I came across I was working 2 jobs, so I was on a school teacher's wage and just had to support my family, and then thought of this idea and thought, I think this is going to work, believed it, and wanted to give it a crack in my town, which is only a small country town. Like it's not tiny, but it has recently become a bit of a tourist hub. So again, the opportunity was there. Believe that it was going to work, and so from being a school teacher, reached out. It's just a Facebook. This is one of the good things about Facebook and social media, is that people can help each other out, and then came across Julie George and her story. She was still in her business at that time. Reached out to her, and that first phone call with her changed my life, because it motivated me and inspired me with Julie's story. And her book as well, to give it a crack, and what's the worst thing that could happen in this space? I go back to being a teacher after a bit of hard work. That was fine with me. So did give it a go. It was a lot of hard work, but geez, my life is different now to what it was before, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, congratulations, man. I'm super excited. Tell us a little bit about your location, Orange, in Australia.
Yep. So we are the perfect place for this domestic sort of travel as well, which has been good throughout COVID. But we are 3 hours west, or 3.5 hours drive west of Sydney. Our airport has been improved as well, so we do connect to Brisbane and Melbourne. That wasn't handy during the lockdowns in New South Wales. Each state got locked down, but what was handy was the fact that Sydney also couldn't go to other states. So we experienced a huge influx of travel between around that COVID period. But yeah, as Orange, I liken it to a little bit to southern France. It's rolling hills. It just doesn't have any castles. It's got vineyards. It's food and wine and a lot of culture. As far as the arts and things go, so it's quite a regional hub for the New South Wales, and and has something for everyone. So again, allows this business to thrive when one market's taken out. We could remain strong with another market. So that was good.
Tell us a little bit about your guest services business, Book Orange.
Yeah, so Book Orange was it was actually born out of a lockdown. I had the idea, as a business like ours naturally grows, you've got to get more and more guests who are asking what to do in your town. And I'm very passionate for our town. I grew up here. My parents, we planted a vineyard as kids. Dad and mum still run that as a cellar door in town, and Orange is famous for its wine as well. So I've always been in that sort of hospitality, sort of the business. So watching Dad, care for people who come to the vineyard and tasting wine, etc. So he does an amazing job at that. But then, Book Orange was born, which is our business. We thought that what Book Orange, I suppose we just saw the opportunity that a business like Book Orange could become in our town, because we didn't really have that either. So we thought, well, why not grow it side by side with BNB Made Easy, and allocate a bit of resource to it to just see where Book Orange could go. And at the moment, yes, we're the direct booking platform, which was the main reason, because we all heard about service fees being sent overseas when you're in Australia and it's getting sent to a different country, it kind of hurts a little bit. So we figured that if we could keep money in the region, in Orange especially, and support our friends in local business, that would be a good thing. And then from that point, we've then pushed into itineraries, events. We've had 2 very successful events so far. And then we're looking to really connect our guests. At the moment, on a full weekend, we host 750 guests who all would like a little bit of guidance on their stay. Again, Orange is 3 hours from Sydney, a real heavy weekend tourism town. So the idea is that if we can cut their planning, thinking time short, they're going to have a good experience. Shorter, they're going to have more time to enjoy our town, which is a Friday afternoon drive out, spend the weekend, leave Sunday. A lot of that's consumed by travel time. We want to, if we can enhance their experience that way, tell them where to go, have them book a cheese platter before arrival and have it in their Airbnb when they arrive, things like that. The Book Orange will go well, because it'll get such a good reputation as a hosting business that it will be successful. Yeah, so that's Book Orange. It's really exciting as well. The property management is property management, but the Book Orange can be whatever it wants, and that's me as a person. That's the most joyous part of it, is that we can just get an idea. Okay, let's give it a crack. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. What I found really impressive about Book Orange, and if you're listening to this, you want to check it out, go to bookorange.com.au, is that but what I found impressive is that I know a lot of people have been trying to set something up like that, where a lot of hosts are realizing, like, hey, we have the first contact with the visitor, we should be able to make decent extra income and develop a new revenue stream by offering services and experiences and stuff. But it's pretty rare to see an operator being very successful at that. And so I look at your website now, and I see you have lots of experiences like Girls Escape, Romantic Getaway, country culture, food and wine, family adventures. You have events, as you mentioned. Is it just your guests that book these experiences, or is it anybody who visits your region?
Yeah, so I need to disclose first that the Book Orange brand and website and business is forever evolving. So we've only just launched this website, which is a really nice interface, but there is definitely space there for us to improve. And we're doing that every week when we have our meetings. What's next? What can we improve? We also have a place there that like corporates can book. Just we're trying to take the pain out of some administrator going in and trying to book for a group of their 10 employees, 3 different houses. We just want them. We want them to use our local knowledge to put them into a place. So that's another advantage of Book Orange. But As far as successful, it's covering its way, but I think, like I said, I think you just got to start in that space and just toy around with it a little bit. Like we put on an event called A Night in Nashville, which is an American themed country music, which is, me as a person, I just put it on because I wanted to attend it, but it was extremely successful, and so we're talking about its first. Its first event, but this second year we then have a lot of documentation to make that an easier event to organise, a cheaper event to organise, and also have the reputation of it. So I think that starting a few events like this, they're going to, over the years, they're going to build and build and build, and who knows, they could become a major music festival in Orange, which Orange doesn't have yet. And then one of our girls, Beck, who I employed to get the Book Orange going, she's done a pre-loved market. So it's all about sustainable fashion and the girls getting together and it's, I suppose, like a marketplace, like on selling and trading their clothes in a shared space, which it went crazy last year. So we can't wait to see it this year. But all those things, again, all those things, they just build up the reputation so that they support the BNB Made Easy business, the booking business, the local, keep it local, and our friends in business. So when someone comes to town, where should I stay? I got this wedding here this weekend. Book Orange does accommodation. Go to Book Orange. We just to keep that name floating around all the time. And if we have a few events scattered throughout the year and we get a fair bit of hype about those, and then we've got a nice interface and we can do the booking for them, all of that, then the two businesses are going to really support each other. So yeah, it's good. Again, really exciting. I love this stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I want to go back to your short-term rental company, BNB Made Easy. Again, you've grown it to over 100 units. I think when we first met, when was that? It was like 2 years ago, I think, back in 2020, wasn't it?
Yep. It was that lockdown.
Yeah, when you joined the mastermind, I thought you were, at the time, you were maybe half of that, right? About 50 or so.
Yep, we were probably even 45 or so. It's funny, over the years, you've got to grow to a certain stage before you then can get to the next stage. So our growth has started really slow. The first 2 years, I think we finished with 22 properties after going into 2020. So at the end of 2019, we had 21. So and then again, another employee allowed me to do more sales and build more reputation, more people talk. So over the time, that number has escalated quite quickly. We probably at that time, I think I had one, maybe two employees. We're up to 10 now, and with the big growth plans into the region. So that number is expected to escalate quickly. But in saying that, that 100 number was the furthest goal that I ever had for this business. So it's all happened quite quickly. But yeah. Would you like me to keep talking about the journey and how we got there, or do you want to throw out some questions, Jasper?
Yeah, I've got plenty of questions. Don't worry about that. No, I mean, like what I find amazing is just how fast your life can change, right? Like you started in 2018, so you were saying you were a teacher, you had a second job as well to kind of make ends meet. And now you're a business owner with over 100 units under management in 4 years, which is just crazy, right? 4 years is not that much time.
It's really quick because we're at the start of 2022. Yeah, so it has been crazy, and yeah, there's been challenges along the way. Don't worry, and we're still going through some now, and there will with growth in every business. I think there's challenges. Some of those challenges have been global pandemic as well. In Australia, bushfires, mice plague, floods. There's a lot going on, but I think, and I was going to share this, I think one of the most important things, during the lockdown, like seeing them as opportunities to develop and grow on things. Like although it was very scary and stressful, especially when the first lockdown hit, like you guys did, we had to pivot a little bit. We were very lucky. We still had a lot of migrants in town who needed like backpacking accommodation for fruit picking around here. So we filled our house with houses with pickers and just got us through. But then did not sit on our hands because we knew the idea of this short-term property management was a good one. So kind of doubled down on the business idea when we had time to plan and strategize and strengthen up the foundation. So we had 2 lockdowns in New South Wales, about a year apart, and that period of time in each were quite pivotal, in this business becoming what it is and being able to grow as fast as it was. So if you manage maybe less units and you're growing, definitely understand that the time that you can allow yourself to grow the business is so valuable. It's worth way more than everyone else's wage put together, because you can grow with ease, less pressure, and faster as well.
Yeah. Well, I would love to ask you this question. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening now who are inspired by your story. If somebody would ask you, like, I'm about to, grow my business. I have 5 units now. I want to get up to the 100. That 100 seems like a crazy goal right now, but I want to give it a shot. Like, what would you tell that person?
It's oh geez, I lost you there for a second. Mate. I think that's what would I tell that person? That was me not long ago. Just definitely inspired by Julie George. Like, believe yourself. One of the main things, and I wanted to get this across, that joining a group such as the Legends, when I had no business experience, or everyone can learn more in any aspect of their life anyway. So although I consider myself quite switched on, I definitely had a lot of opportunities to grow in my business mind, if that makes sense. So and I played sport. I knew that experience counts for so much in anything. So where I could make less mistakes, it would be a good thing for me. So I took on a business coach who has allowed me to grow faster as well. Again, this business is the ideas and everything's run by me, but I have that business coach who is there for any of the harder, larger questions, and also when I get overwhelmed to help me just realign my goals, my strategy. So again, it comes with an investment, but it's worth it. I have him for a year. I pay for a year, and we work out anything along the way. And I know that any decision that's made along the way, that in this growing business, will pay him off in a split second, and then allow us to grow much better. So I think that has been vital in our growth. And then, but that's not industry specific like Legends is. So I joined the Legends again within lockdown, because I kind of felt like I was alone in this business that I'd created in Orange. That I didn't have anyone to share challenges with or anything like that. But then I found this Legends group. Again, a bit of a scary investment, but worth every cent. It has absolutely transformed the culture. We've all our core values from what I learned in the Legends, and everyone loves coming to work, and to the point that I'll put out a job and I've hired someone in the same day. Like, it's not hard for me to find an employee, because and if you look at our social media and that, you'll see, like, it should come across that this is a great place for people to work, because that's just what it is. People enjoy it, and that's so important for efficiency in the business. And and then when times get tough, people helping each other out rather than getting short with each other. There's so much in that, and again, playing team sports, I do know, I recognise the value in that. So I've placed a really high importance on the team culture that we have. We celebrate, luckily, and we can talk about that with Julie George. When I first met her recently, we celebrated 100 properties, and we hit 100 just before Christmas. I did not want to let that milestone go without celebrating it, because this business grows so fast. So we delayed the celebration to February. I brought Julie George down and just hosted her for the weekend, which was just an amazing time, and just to show my gratitude for her kindness and generosity in helping me start this business. So yeah, definitely the culture, and then the structure as well. Transform this business, like building your foundations really strong and the biggest takeaway from Legends systems equal freedom, like is in this online business where there's so much communication and repetitiveness. If you get systems for things, it allows you to do other things with less stress and much more efficiently. So that's a core value of ours as well, because it's so true. And then I've got my staff are acting to my core values that I've chosen for the business. And when something comes up out in the office out there, they create a system for it, and it's all sorted. I don't have to tell them what to do anymore. It's just the culture of the business that's so important to get right and to keep working on and not forget and reinforce. And sorry, I just keep talking. Just we have a lunch every month where we have a culture champions lunch. So we all meet together. I put on lunch, which always goes over well, and we sit there and everyone. We call it 907 Kickstarter meeting on a Monday morning, just to get everyone together, have a quick chat, drop all the weekend what happened, because I'd find out on a Monday morning before this meeting that would slow us down a little bit. Just get all that out, set some goals for the week, and come together, and then start the week afresh and on a good note. And we remind everyone to, if you see someone living up to our core values, to nominate them on a Google form that we have on the side. And then at a Culture Champions lunch at the end of every month, we sit there, we have lunch, we have a good chat, and then we go through peer nominations, and also, from me down as well. But it's really reaffirming for the staff who are in their role, who have gone above and beyond to live to the core values that we have. And we got little trophies as well, like just little animal figurines that just add a bit more meaning to the culture. That it just keeps keep the culture of the business flowing, which is
I love that, man. I love that award. And you've mentioned a lot of good advice here, so I want to just kind of go back and break it down. Like, so number one, you're saying get a coach, right? Get a business coach, right? Which is, I think it's awesome advice. Eric and I always have a coach. We have them right now, and like you said, it's like when you have to make those big decisions, it's so incredible when somebody who's thinks at a higher level than you can give you some clarity, somebody who's not in the weeds of the business and just, has a 30,000 feet view, and give you some really good high-end advice, right? That's invaluable. So getting a coach, investing in your business, I love that advice. The other thing that you mentioned is the core values, right? That's something that I feel like is, and not just in the short-term rental space, but this is advice for any business, really, right? Core values are super underestimated, I think. Building a culture is so important because, like you mentioned, people love working for you because people want to align with other people that have to share their values, right? So we experienced the same thing where we attracted some team members specifically because our core values. Actually, one of our team members specifically chased us down because she aligned with our core values and she just wanted to work for us. So I think that's super, super important. I love the idea how you're celebrating those core values as well. And then what was the third thing you mentioned? There was a third thing.
You put me on the spot. I don't know. I spoke for a while there. Core values, definitely the business
systems, of course, systems.
Yeah,
systems.
So
that was the first thing. Yeah, the third thing you mentioned was systems, right? Which it's interesting. Systems is something that it takes time to build, and initially when you're starting the business, like you're wearing so many hats and you just want to get everything done, right? And then at some point you realize I gotta get some systems in place, otherwise it's just impossible to grow, right? So I love that you have that as one of the core values, right? And that's something that Eric and I preach. If I mean, people who've been listening to this podcast, I'm sure know that we talk quite a bit about systems. And that's just the biggest thing that kind of becomes your business, right? The business is the systems in a way, almost.
True, and it is hard. It is hard when you're so busy. It is hard when you've got other things to do or people to respond to. But you just got to have that knowledge that, or that is going to make things easier if you get that done. So it's it's something you just have to do if you want to grow and be successful, rather than being bogged down and stressed. And stress is the worst thing for anyone in the business, but it naturally is going to happen, right? But you got to need to understand that creating those systems and the core values so that other people can create the systems for you are only going to be good in your business and allow you to do things that that you wouldn't have been able to do if you didn't create those systems. So
yeah. What are some of your other core values? So systems is freedom, systems equals freedom is one of them. What are some of the other ones?
Yeah, you're going to laugh because they are very close to the legends, which is what I invested in to learn more about business and have aligned. We're in a similar industry. So number one, excellent communication. So and this is not just to your guests, it's to your clients, it's to staff as well. And it's about clear, open, honest, any way we communicate to each other. You need to do it in a professional manner, and again, having the core value there that if we start to see cracks in the business communication wise, we can just rein them in and say, hey, are you living up to the core value A of communication? And at any point that you might, again, this is about this peer review and how powerful it is. If someone's sitting there and you notice that someone's just going above and beyond with their communication, that's when you'd nominate them to reinforce them down the track that you saw them doing something awesome. So, and we know that in hospitality, communication is key. Like it's so vital to making people enjoy their stay, but also preventing a lot of problems that can come as well. So, again, you're going to laugh at these because they are very similar. But I've got the action today, not tomorrow. So I think that's really important, and it's exactly what you guys say it is. So just about not crossing off your list. No point spinning the wheels. What can I do today that will move the needle in our company? So that down again. How can I help is another one. So because we're in the hospitality industry, your attitude goes a long way to ensuring your success. So the attitude, it's a culture thing, the attitude of how can I help, not because I did find a bit of negativity coming in. Oh, this person's whinging about this again. Oh, this house, this client, that kind of negativity had crept in before I introduced this. And then we don't have that anymore because everyone is of the attitude of, oh, how can I help? And in our last Culture Champions lunch, let's just say every other core value had 2 or 3 nominations. How can I help had about 18, where people were understand, just seeing other people trying to, and it's not just the guests, again, it's the clients and it's peer, it's staff as well. So dropping things to help other people to, it's a great core value to have. Always be growing, I thought was an extremely powerful core value to have, because I don't want to tell them to have to want to grow in this business. I want them to think upon themselves. And we hire on that people who actually want to move forward. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's interior designing and it's not real estate, that's fine. Like, just as long as you're thinking that way. And you might be doing a side course, or if you have a new software and you don't know the answer to something, it's not like sit there and do things wrong. It's about work out the answer, get your knowledge on it, and then do things right. It's about having the confidence to allow yourself the time to do that. And if you make a mistake, that's okay. Own it, learn and move on. Kind of attitude as well. Systems equal freedom, as I said, and I've got this to a point where my staff are doing that for me. I don't really need to even mention that anymore. They just know, and yeah, let us know from the way that I've operated with this one, that if something comes up, you know, and you need to do it twice, as the legends have firmly written in their corvees, that you create a system for it. And when you find a system that's outdated, you update it, because this business and industry is so dynamic and changing that if you don't, you're going to fall behind. And a big part of our mission statement is technology, and we're always looking. We're not settling on one technology. We're always looking like, how can we? Is there any technology, because it changes so fast? Like, we invest in the best technology because so that we can be the market leader, and that comes with technology updates, and you have to change everything. But that's just where we have to be to be at the front. And then, yeah, finished off, and I love it because I love movies, but be better than the gap, which is a great one. And it goes, and if you look at Book Orange and look at our events, which are a night in Nashville and our pre-love market, it's about going above and beyond, being better than the next best thing, and being allowed to do that as well, because we've all got to have a bit of fun in this business too. And you know, when I used to do this in teaching. I used to do so much above and beyond for the kids and do house points and everything. But then at the end, yeah, you get your little fuzzy wuzzy, you know, reward in your heart. But but when you do it in the business, you know, that reward's going to be again, for Book Orange, more bookings, because the reputation's high. So there's a lot of value in allowing people to go above and beyond. And we had just one more on that. We had someone who rang up, and we don't do one night stays, but he goes, oh, I want to propose to my wife. Can I book one night? And I was like, well, actually, it wasn't me. It was our head of reservations who just took that one and said, yeah, I've got it. She's an event coordinator as well. So she had flowers, and I think this is on Book Orange social media as well. She had flowers, candles. She ran the bubble bath for them and everything. And then it was so good. That was being better than the gap. That was going above and beyond. And she probably dropped a few things to make that happen. But she said yes, and that was an amazing way to cap that core value off and allow yourself to be those people. Yeah,
that's incredible, man. Makes me really happy to see that you know, you implemented those core values. You know, you have a few that are the same that we were kind of preaching in the Legends Mastermind, but then you have some of your own, right? I love the one, how can we help? I mean, you don't have to explain. You're in hospitality. You don't have to explain to any employee what that stands for, right? It immediately puts you in the mind. Yeah, it immediately puts you in the mindset of like, yes, we are here to serve our guests, right? We are here to own the experience for our guests. So, dude, I think that's amazing. I love when, you know, people come through our programs and they're actually implementing, you know, this stuff that we're teaching, and it's so awesome to see that you're so successful. You know, maybe small part of that might have been the core values, you know. So I think that's incredible.
Not a small part. Again, it's the culture. It's a huge part, and I said that before. And yeah, I can't explain enough how much joining the Legends has fast-tracked this business to where it is, because I'd be the same business, but I'd be a lot more stressed if I hadn't learnt these. And yeah, they're probably basic as far as business goes, but it's knowledge that I didn't have. So and knowledge that experience that I knew I needed to get. So again, invested in it, got it. And my business journey is only starting. Like, it's, you know, and you know, you got to always be growing and learning. And
that's right.
Here I am now. Where am I in 10 years? Who knows? But I've learned the importance of culture and core values in the last couple of years that I've been here, and only have Legends and Julie George and my business coach and people that I'm investing in helping me grow this thing to thank. What's
the next goal for you?
Yeah, funny one. So it's kind of we're really, so we're moving into the town next door. So it's a similar sized town, and our region is it's four decent sized towns within about 2 hours of each other. So we're looking not we're looking, we're already implementing hosting, not hosting, but managing the business remotely in different towns. And then once we sort of lock that down, we're going to go full ham into hitting as many properties, like full sales, into hitting as many properties as we can. We have a bit of the way of business, we have a bit of a headquarters here in Orange, and someone here can do the reservations across the board. But we do need those little bases in each town to run the linen. We run our own cleaning company as well, so that's another big thing that's grown. They're all in house, so it's quite big. Our cleaning business is a huge part. But I consider it vital for the quality assurance. So we've kept that in house, and we've outgrown any other cleaning business in the region as well by a fair bit.
Nice. Yeah, I actually, now that you mentioned this, I remember a hot seat. Might have been your first hot seat that you did when you joined the mastermind. And just some background. A hot seat is basically where we come together as a mastermind. We come together. We used to do virtual masterminds only. Yeah, when COVID hit, we couldn't do live events. We're doing live events this year, by the way. So if you're up for some adventure,
I am.
But so we did hot seats on these virtual masterminds where basically like you bring a challenge or a question to the group, and then as a group we give feedback. And I remember, do you remember your hot seat? You remember what your question was?
Yeah, it was about moving into Bathurst, into the next town, and the challenges that came with it. And I was hoping that someone had done it. The advice I got from across the board was just stick to what you have, which in a way I did, but in a way I knew my environment better than anyone else, and I kept the properties I had there but didn't grow there, because now I've started, my business name is floating around. I got offered to manage 44 units in one complex the other day, but it just wasn't the right thing. But that's what I mean, like we still just kept a presence there. So again, extremely valuable lessons learned from everyone when you share information like that. And what's amazing in this business and exciting is there's no really set way to do your business. Like everyone's businesses are so different. They're all the same, but they're all so different at the same time. And I found that when I came to Legends, I thought that I was I was just going to be the new student who was just learning everything. But once I spoke to a few other people, I learned that someone who was about my size wasn't using dynamic pricing, and I thought that was just crazy. Like, because I had been using it, and I really wanted to teach them that the advantages of having it. And someone else was only hosting remotely. They didn't even have one in their own town. They were hosting other people. So it was kind of cool to see the different business models in this industry, and that's just going to keep evolving and changing. And it might get to a point where it's kind of mainstream, but at the moment it's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's I remember that advice as well, which it seems like you've kind of taken that advice, because I remember people were saying, like, listen, focus on your market first, dominate your market, and then expand to those other areas, right? So just kind of conquer city by city.
We doubled inside in Orange. And if we were stretched too far, maybe the quality of our growth wouldn't have been as good. So it was great. I loved everything about Legends. It was awesome.
Tim, it was so much fun talking to you, man, and I'm so excited about your success. Let the listeners know how they can find you if people want to travel to Australia to get a stay with you.
Yeah, we're in Orange, in New South Wales. Definitely come to Australia. Give me a call and I'll host you. That's easy, and that's what I think maybe would be that. I'd love to come around to America or Europe and be hosted by someone, just because in this business you get better experience if someone points you the right way. And not talking about trying to save money on accommodation, I'm talking about just connecting with people. So that's what I'm all about. And come to Orange. Our social media is probably the best place to follow what we're doing, which is BNB Made Easy is our business, and Book Orange as well. And you'll see how they're closely tied if you do. Happy for you to follow them, or even just reach out if you want to chat about anything. I was inspired by Julian, and I love the idea that my story might inspire other people as well. And there's a lot of room in this industry. Yeah.
Well, I can guarantee you're going to inspire somebody through this podcast for sure. So for everybody who's listening, you want to learn more about Tim's incredible story, check out bnbmadeeasy.com.au, bookorange.com.au, and find him on social media. What are your social media platforms? Instagram?
Yeah, they're both the same. Yeah, BNB Made Easy and Book Orange.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'll just try to say one quickly, Jasper.
Tell me.
I'm at 100 now, but I listen to your podcast when I get the opportunity, and I'll listen to someone who has 20 properties that you're interviewing, and I'll still learn something. It's amazing. Again, and it's so good to, well, what you're doing as well, Jasper. It's amazing, but also the opportunity that you're never too big for your boots in this business, because everyone's doing things different ways, and as long as you've got that growth and learning mindset, there's improvement everywhere to be had. So thanks for running such a good podcast, mate, and for interviewing me on it. I'm really honored to be part of it. Yeah,
for sure, man. No, it's super fun to have you on, and love that advice. That's one of the things I love, about our starter program, our Legends X program. Like, somebody could have one unit and you could learn something from that person, right? We're all learning from each other. So awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for jumping on, and hopefully we get to welcome you in one of our live events from the STR Legends Mastermind, which we're kicking that off very, very soon. We're actually we just hired an event manager who's scoping out properties for us all around the world to hold these live events. So hopefully we'll be able to welcome you there, and otherwise maybe one day I'll stay with you in Orange.
All right, I can come to Europe, mate. That's all right.
All right, Tim. Thanks so much.
Hey, good on you, Jasper. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers. And for the listeners, thank you for listening. And we'll be back. Eric and I will be back on Friday with an episode of STR Conversations. And next week on Monday, we'll be back with the host show. So I'll see you then.